What was the hardest part of being the oldest sibling? I became the family's emotional landfill. Everyone dumped their problems on me, parents, siblings, even extended family, but no one ever asked how I was doing. I was 10 when I learned to fake smiles and 15 when I stopped expecting anyone to ask if I needed help. It started when my mom got pregnant with my brother, Tyler. She was overwhelmed and dad was barely home. So she'd sigh and say, "I just need you to be my little helper." At first, it meant folding laundry or grabbing her snacks. Then it became waking up with the baby, feeding him, changing diapers. "You're so mature," she'd beam. "Not like other kids your age." By the time I was 12, I was responsible for 3 younger siblings, Tyler, Mia, and Luke. Every meltdown, scraped knee, or lost shoe, mine to fix. They'd come to me before they'd ever go to mom. She liked it that way. "You're just better with them," she'd say, scrolling through her phone. "They don't respond to me the way they respond to you." What she meant was they weren't scared of me. I became their human diary, therapist, and referee. Tyler would sob in my arms after school because his teacher yelled. Mia clung to me during thunderstorms like I was the one who made the sky quiet. Luke refused to fall asleep unless I read him Goodnight Moon 3 times in a row, even if I had homework or cramps or was just dead tired. I loved them so much it hurt. But the pressure of being everything for everyone crushed me. Mom started oversharing with me like I was her therapist. "Your dad hasn't touched me in weeks," she whispered once while I was brushing Mia's hair. "I think he's cheating again." I was 13. I didn't even know how to answer. When dad did come home, he'd rant to me about money or how ungrateful mom was. Then he'd go back out again, and mom would sob in my lap, telling me how tired she was of being the only adult in the house. I wanted to scream. I'm a child too, but I stayed quiet because someone had to keep things together. They told our relatives I was gifted, responsible, special. All it meant was they gave me adult expectations without adult respect. I stopped being invited to sleepovers because I always had to watch the kids. I didn't go to prom because mom needed help organizing Luke's birthday party. I missed my own middle school graduation because Mia had the flu and someone had to stay home. No one ever said thank you. They acted like I owed them every second of my time. When I turned 16, I got my first job, just a part-time gig at the grocery store. It was the first thing that felt mine. I loved it. I made friends. I started smiling again. But 2 weeks in, mom sat me down. "You're going to have to quit. The kids have soccer and tutoring and I can't juggle it all." I said no. She looked at me like I'd committed treason. "What do you mean?" "No, I mean I'm keeping this job. I'm allowed to have something that's just mine." That night, she locked herself in the bathroom and sobbed so loud the neighbors heard. Dad said I was tearing the family apart. They grounded me, took my phone, told the kids I didn't care about them anymore. Mia wouldn't even look at me. I held out for a week before I quit the job myself. I felt like I was being erased. My dreams, my needs, my identity, flattened beneath the weight of what everyone else needed me to be. But the breaking point came the night dad lost it. He'd had a fight with mom, and I guess I didn't respond fast enough when Luke spilled juice on the carpet. He snapped, grabbed my arm hard, and yelled, "Can't you do anything right?" Luke started crying. Mia screamed, and I just stood there, frozen. Later, he apologized, gave me a $20 bill and said, "Go buy yourself something nice." I flushed it down the toilet. I started keeping a journal after that. I wrote down every missed birthday, every insult disguised as a compliment, every time I wanted to cry but smiled instead. One day, I left it out. Mia found it. She was 9. She read every word and started crying. She brought it to Grandma. The next day, Grandma showed up unannounced. She asked to speak to me privately and said, "You're coming home with me for a while." I panicked. "Please don't separate us. I can handle it. I promise." She hugged me and whispered, "Sweetheart, it's not your job to handle it." Grandma took me in for the summer. She gave me space to sleep, breathe, and just be a teenager. She let me cry and didn't ask me to explain. She said, "Being the oldest doesn't mean you have to be the sacrifice." When I finally went back, things didn't magically fix themselves, but my siblings started seeing me differently, not as their emotional crutch, but as a person. And when I finally told mom I was applying to college out of state, she said, "Fine, go. Just don't expect me to chase you." I smiled and said, "I'm not asking you to. I'm still healing." But I finally understand. The hardest part of being the oldest wasn't the responsibility. It was never being allowed to need someone myself.